The Africa Twin is one of the most beloved Hondas to never have been imported to the United States. In 1986, the NXR 750 Africa Twin factory racer made its debut at the then Paris-Dakar Rally. The bike was powered by a V-twin engine, while the rally largely took place on the African continent, hence its Africa Twin namesake. Following racing success in the epically grueling rally, Honda produced the XRV 650 Africa Twin in 1988 and 1989, which used the same 647 cubic centimeters V-twin engine as the Hawk GT, then followed by the XRV 750 Africa Twin from 1990 to 2003 for foreign markets. 13 years after discontinuing that model, Honda has revived the Africa Twin moniker for 2016 as the CRF 1000L, and this one is destined for the USA. The Paris-Dakar Rally is now known as just the Dakar and has relocated to South America due to safety concerns in Africa. So too has the new Africa Twin moved on, a parallel twin engine configuration replacing the V-twin of the old XRV 750. Of course, everything about the CRF 1000L is new, especially the ones outfitted with Honda's second-generation dual-clutch transmission, DCT. Sticking to the Africa Twin's historical roots, Honda chose South Africa as the launching site for the company's new flagship ADV bike, a two-day riding smorgasbord of asphalt, dirt, water, mud, rocks, and rain. Occasional wildebeest, baboon, and eland sightings ensured we weren't mistaking the semi-arid deserts of South Africa for the very similar ones of Southern California. DCT-equipped models were of the tricolor persuasion, a color scheme, not coming stateside, nod to the original 1988 XRV 650 Africa Twin. In South Africa, left is the correct side of the road. Day one riding was largely confined to asphalt and stock tires, and divided between the pre-lunch hours aboard the manual transmission model, while post-lunch was all DCT. Knowing that DCT would later command complete attention, the AM time slot was spent focusing on the Africa Twin's essential performance characteristics and technologies. The 998 cubic centimeters parallel twin, while significantly more powerful than the V-twin it's replacing, is certainly no fire breather. Honda's claim for the new Africa Twin's twin is 93.9 crank horsepower at 7,500 rpm, and 72.3 lb-ft of torque at 6,000 rpm, enough to spin the rear tire on asphalt or dirt but not poised to steal any performance thunder from the likes of KTM's 1190 Adventure. The new engine's low 10.0:1 compression ratio should help it equal the bulletproof reputation and low maintenance for which its predecessor was renowned, and allow it to run on low-grade fuel while also keeping the amount of engine braking low. Increasing the engine's performance envelope will be a simple matter of farming the aftermarket for performance upgrades such as a pipe, cam, and pistons. The parallel twin configuration was chosen because it allows for tight packaging, and increased mass centralization. The handling benefits are a bike that feels lighter than its 503-pound claimed wet weight. Power production from the twin is a steadily increasing flow of horsepower and torque with no noticeable dips or peaks. Like the CRF 450R, the CRF 1000L uses a unicam head to more efficiently operate its 4 valves per cylinder, as compared to a DOHC design. Standing on the side of the road watching other journalists conduct photo passes provided audible proof of the great job Honda did making the 270-degree firing parallel twin and stock exhausts sound exceptionally throaty. All Africa Twins are outfitted with Honda selectable torque control, traction control, and ABS brakes. HSTC has 3 levels plus off. An index finger switch on the left handlebar provides a rider easy, on-the-fly selection between all 4 settings. The current HSTC setting is presented in bar graph form in the middle of the digital instrument cluster. A light is illuminated on the left side of main display when TC is shut off. The 3 presets may seem to limit the amount of HSTC adjustability, but do a good job allowing for increased rear wheel slip without going overboard in the amount of settings available. Like HSTC, ABS is easily switched off to the rear wheel by pressing a right side fairing mounted button. Unlike HSTC, ABS can only be switched on or off when the bike is stopped. Keying the bike off returns both technologies to their default settings, ABS on, HSTC to level 3. Using the combined start/stop button to kill the engine while leaving the key on retains your ABS setting but returns TC to its default setting. If you're thinking that doesn't quite make sense, I'm in agreement with you. TC levels are below the clock and next to the gear position indicator. Speedo, touch, and fuel gauge are in the readout above. The entire cluster is a clean, legible design. Note the windscreen is non-adjustable, but the bubble of still air behind the windscreen is remarkable considering the screen's small size. Glaringly absent technologies are ride-by-wire throttle and the resultant ability to easily enable cruise control. Honda had its reasons for using a cable-actuated throttle, but they sounded shallow, and no excuse will help the Africa Twin when compared in a future shootout to its competitors which mostly have cruise control. Also missing in action, on the manual transmission model, is any type of selectable ride modes. With only 94 HP available, there's no sense shaming Honda for discluding the technology, but it's become so ubiquitous on new model motorcycles its absence doesn't go unnoticed. The big technology here, though, is DCT, and let's begin by saying that this second-gen version is a big improvement over the original offering. If you're unfamiliar, DCT is a technology that engages the next gear chosen, higher or lower, while the current gear is still in use, smoothing the gear shifting process and increasing gear shifting efficiency. The left handlebar is a little busy, but the buttons used most often are the DCT thumb-activated downshifter, below the turn signal switch, the index finger-activated upshifter, peeking out from behind the top right of the grip, and directly above it the HSTC switch. The suspiciously clutch-like lever is actually a parking brake. On the right, next to the hazard lights button, is where you choose automatic or manual. Above is the switch for drive or sport and also where you select level I, 2 or 3 for sport mode. The N is for selecting neutral. DCT also replaces the manual toe shifter with left handlebar mounted electronic buttons, akin to paddle shifters in performance cars. A rider can choose to manually select a gear with the index finger, upshift, button, or thumb, downshift, button. There's also an automatic mode with 2 variations, drive mode and sport mode. D mode is for fuel efficiency while S mode is for increased performance, holding onto gears longer and higher into the rev range. At any time a rider can choose to override the automatic settings by selecting a higher or lower gear via the handlebar buttons. The blue and red coloring indicates the dual clutch and each clutch's corresponding gears, one for gears 1, 3, 5 and the other for gears 2, 4, 6. DCT models, 524.7 pounds, weigh an additional 22 pounds. New to DCT on the Africa Twin are the 3 selectable levels within S mode. Whereas level 2 remains the same as the previous DCT, level 1 provides slightly less aggressiveness than level 2, while level 3 provides slightly more aggressiveness than level 2. Unlike ride modes on other motorcycles, none of these selections change the way in which power is delivered, they affect the characteristics of the DCT transmission, which is useful depending your riding style, type of road, road condition, and, of course, if you're on asphalt or dirt. For off-road riding, DCT models come equipped with a G, gravel, button located next to the ABS button on the right side fairing. In theory, initiating the